Hello and welcome. This is Charla Jacobs, and I am here to talk with you about the 8 ways to book more consults. So glad that you were here today. Turn on your sound if you're joining us live or listening later. Actually, listening later, because then you won't just see the text on the screen. And this is part 2 in our Book More Consult series. And I'm so glad you're here with me today because last week I shared why no or low cost consultations are absolutely essential to your client attraction plan. It doesn't matter if you're what we call a one-on-one connector, you want a private practice, or if you're a transformational leader or influencer and you have a vision, like you want to be offering groups and home study courses and really be working with a lot more people. It doesn't matter, workshops, VIP days, whatever you're offering, consults are absolutely essential. So if you haven't watched that video yet, I highly encourage you to go do that. You'll be able to do so on the Thrive Academy page. And again, make sure to turn on your sound for this video so you don't miss anything. Now, if you are a coach or holistic practitioner and you're ready to have more people saying yes to working with you, stay tuned because I'm going to share specific things that you can do starting today to help you attract more of your ideal clients. So go ahead and turn on your sound now. And I've even got a special gift for you to help you with this. So starting on Monday, October 28th, we are offering our Book 5 Consults in 5 Days challenge. So during this online challenge, you're going to get several of our proven templates that will help you book more consults, not sometime in the future, but how about we generate some big interest in your work during that week? That's next week. So I hope you can join us. The Book 5 Consults in 5 Days challenge will get you motivated to get into action right away. And the last 2 times we offered this mini course, and it really is like a mini course, it was really fun and really inspiring. And people had huge breakthroughs in their willingness to put themselves out there. And if you've been stalling getting your work out there, I just really want to encourage you to play with us because it'll be fun. You'll get into action. And these templates are actually templates that can be used in a lot of the different strategies that we're going to talk about today. So I am excited to jump in. Now, before I do get into the 8 strategies, again, one last reminder to turn on your sound because it's a lot more fun if I'm not a talking head and you can actually hear what I have to say. It'll go in more deeply if you can see the words, if you're watching the recording and hearing it. And also, I am curious to know who you are. So if you're new here, go ahead and you will have your name, but tell us where you're from and tell us what you do. And also, I am curious if you are already using free or low-cost consults to attract your ideal clients. If that is your strategy to get to the yes, if that is you, go ahead and type yes into the comments, and I'm super excited to hear. All right, so in case we are meeting for the first time, I am Charla Jacobs. I'm the co-founder of Thrive Academy, where my husband, Jesse Korn, and I have been called the #1 source for turning coaches and holistic practitioners into 6-figure transformational leaders. We started this business almost 15 years ago, and I'm proud to share that our clients have earned over $100 million collectively. Now, I'll share our story another time. For now, I just want to get right into the heart of our content for today. Now, I am going to be sharing 8 different categories of how you can book more consults. And the reality is that these are categories, they're broad categories. And you can pop some different things into each of these categories. And the reality is that every single one of these categories requires some level of mastery in order to be successful with them. You'll also find that you might tend to gravitate toward one type of category more than the other because of your personality, because of your natural skills. And so I'll talk a little bit about that to help you hopefully decide which of these ways do you want to focus on. Because once you decide, that's my way, that's my strategy, then you can go and gain mastery in that. And I will tell you that one of the biggest mistakes a lot of coaches and holistic practitioners make is they have this idea that they're just going to put themselves out there. And they don't realize that people that are successful in booking a lot of consults have spent a lot of time and energy and discovery and learning, and likely, I would say, 95, 98% likely studied with a mentor who taught them a proven system within the strategy so they could be successful. So that's something to consider. If you're kind of like throwing it all out there and it's like throwing spaghetti on the wall and you're not really sure why it's working, if it is or it's not working, it could be that you don't have all the subtle nuances of the system that you're trying to use. So it doesn't mean you should give up. You can either keep trying to figure it out on your own, or you can find a mentor to help you with this strategy. Those are really the two options. And you might have a friend who knows what they're doing, but just to know that if you're not getting the results you want, if you're trying one of these strategies and it's not working as well, that could be the reason. Now, so I want to get into these strategies. Now, here's an interesting thing about these, that before you use any of these 8 strategies, we have to back up a little bit. We have to rewind, and we have to make sure we get your communication strategy down. Meaning, how are you talking about what you do? How are you positioning yourself? Are you making sure people understand that you are credible? How are you communicating about the benefits that people can get? These are just a few things that we would like to get figured out beforehand. Now, I have some good news for you, because we've already figured out a lot of this stuff for you. Now, of course, it's all customizable and everybody is unique. However, there are certain ways to communicate about your work, and there are certain ways to communicate about the consults that you have to offer that will be a lot more likely for people to say yes. And that's what you're going to get in the Book 5 Consults in 5 Days Challenge, is you are going to get some of our templates that have been proven to get more consults. And the cool thing about it is these templates could be used on social media. They can be used in email marketing. They can be used in videos. If you want to use the template to write a script for yourself or a podcast or whatever it is that you want to do, they can work in a lot of different places. So I'm excited for you. We're live right now. As soon as we get done being live, I'm going to go ahead and pop the link in there for you to go ahead and sign up for the Book 5 Consults in 5 Days Challenge. It's a free online course that we're doing, and you are invited to be our guest. All right, well, let's get into these. And I'm going to be in kind of a little bit of a random order, but I want to talk about each one of these strategies briefly. So the first one is heart selling. Now, I said heart selling, like the heart in your chest, heart selling. So what is heart selling? Well, heart selling is an inspiring conversation that leads to action. And you can have these conversations anywhere you go. Let's say you're going to networking events. You are going to live events. You are at a party. I was just sitting down with a man who's been in business for over 43 years. And he said, every time I'd go to a party, I would get a client. Pretty awesome. That's heart selling. It's being able to have a conversation with a potential client where they practically talk themselves into working with you if it's a good match. And we have our formula for how we teach this. A lot of times people think they should be good at this right out the gate. And the reality is that most people aren't. I mean, all of us, until we do the work to stop being afraid of other people and stop being afraid of connecting with other people and stop feeling awkward, it's going to be that way. So sometimes there's some inner work to do before we get there, right? And then there's the outer work. There is like, what kind of questions can you ask to really put the focus on your potential client, really put the focus on the person you're talking with, and have them feel your interest in them? How can you be curious with them? So that is heart selling. You might like heart selling if you really enjoy being around people, if you are naturally extroverted, or perhaps even if you're one of those, what is it called, an extroverted introvert, where you really like being with people and you like talking with people. So that might be for you if you are that way. If you are not naturally that way and you are willing to use this as an opportunity to have personal breakthroughs, then you could also do it in that case. You know, there are tons of events all over where you could go and find your ideal clients and go have conversations with them. So that is great. Heart selling is also a great place you can network. And inside of networking, this leads us to another one of our strategies, which is asking for referrals. You know, when you are networking, you are talking to the person, hoping that they know somebody in their network of 200 plus people that they know someone who might be a match for what you do. And that's really what networking is about. Of course, you may find a client, you may share what you do and what you have to offer, and people might say, wow, I need that. And of course, the more skilled you are with your communication about what you have to offer in a way that really connects with people, the more likely they're going to say that. But you can certainly ask for referrals, and you can also connect with other people who are colleagues. We have a client, Jenny Mann. She's a naturopathic doctor, and her main way of getting clients is referrals from other doctors. So she specializes in autoimmune issues and digestive issues, and she works with other people's patients, and then she sends them back to them, and that works really well for her. So that's strategy number 2 is referrals. Now, both of these are no cost strategies. I mean, yes, with the hard selling at networking events, you've got to pay for the $25 breakfast or whatever it is, or whatever the event is. But essentially, they're really, really low cost strategies if you like to connect with people, and if you have the willingness to get out of your own way and just really open your heart and be there to support people, to connect, serve, acknowledge, be curious, and give them a choice. Those are the 5 elements of heart selling. If you're willing to do that, you can be really successful with these. So that's heart selling and referrals. Those are 2 of our categories. The next category I want to talk about, kind of if we're in that realm of being in person with other people, is to lead workshops or meetups, to actually be the authority in your area by leading your own live events where you're inviting people to come to your events. And then, of course, you can get more consults. You can actually offer your program or package directly at your own meetup or at a live event. But these are a great place to really position yourself as an expert. This is a type of a speaking gig in essence, except for you're the one filling the workshop. And I think Meetup is a really, really powerful tool. It's amazing. They do a lot of marketing for you when you first launch your Meetup. But again, this is another one of those strategies that if you're going to do it, you have to get masterful at filling the room. You have to get masterful at being able to deliver your workshop in a way that inspires people, that engages them, and do it in a way where it also encourages them to move forward and work into working with you if it's a good match. And that is a skill that's not easily learned. We actually spend 6 days on that skill, like 6 full days live and in-person training in our 6-figure speaker program. And so if you've been trying to go out there and speak and you haven't been getting results, it could be that you just really haven't had a deep enough level of training. So it's something to consider. I mean, and who is speaking right for? Speaking is usually right for those of you that, if you like to be in front of people. And I'll tell you, like, I love being in front of people. I love being on stage. I didn't used to. The first time that Jesse and I led an event together, I stood behind him and whispered into the microphone because I was terrified. So if you feel terrified now, but your soul feels called to step in to leading events, leading workshops, meetups, that kind of thing, know that you can have that breakthrough. And that is a great way to get consults. You can offer a consult at the end of your meetup, and it's a great way for people to get to know you. So I love that strategy. That is number 3. It leads us right into speaking gigs, which is number 4. The difference between leading your own workshops and meetups is that with a speaking gig, somebody else fills the room. With speaking gigs, again, you need to be good at being in front of the room, know how to deliver a talk similar to what I just talked about with workshops. And you need to know how to get the speaking gigs. And there's a skill set in itself. I think you're probably starting to see a pattern here that with each of these, there's a proven system and a skill set that you go through, and you want to gain mastery in that by going out there and doing it. But if you were really committed to getting speaking gigs, I have to tell you, I love the model of speak, offer a consult, offer a package or program. Speak, offer a consult at the event, and then during the consult, offer the package or the program. That business model is a beautiful model. You can easily have a 6-figure business doing just that. It's a low-cost model. It's a great way to get exposure. And when somebody puts you in front of their room of members or participants, it's a real honor, and you really get this beautiful positioning. So it's something I highly recommend if you like speaking and you could see yourself reaching out to go and get those great speaking gigs for yourself. I think that's number 4. Is that right? All right. So the next category, and I feel like I could bounce around quite a bit. A lot of these kind of weave together. But and by the way, I'm delivering this right now because I want to get through it as quickly as I can. But go ahead and ask any questions in the chat here in the comments. And when I am all wrapped up, I'm going to go ahead and post that link for the Book 5 Consults in 5 Days Challenge. And I'm going to answer any of your questions, and I'll even come back a few hours later and just see if there are any questions of anything that, you're curious about. All right. So we've talked about speaking, and, there's kind of an interesting thing in here, because when you start to really take a look at all of the possible ways that you could book consults, we can get into a lot of detail. And remember, I said these are broad categories. So for example, if you have a podcast, that could fit under workshops or meetups in a sense, even though it's virtual, or it could fit into webinars, which we'll talk about in a moment. But there is a way where you can just invite people to reach out to you. And I'm not going to get into all the little details of all of these different little, these strategies that you could use, but just know whichever one you choose, you just want to really be dedicated to it. And you want to know that it's the right one for you and for your personality. All right, so we have talked about hard selling at live events or networking. We've talked about asking for referrals. We have talked about leading workshops or meetups, and we've talked about speaking gigs. So the next one I want to talk about is when you have your own list. I'm going to call it email marketing, but the reality is that it is your email list. And your email list, you'd be driving people to something different. It could be you're driving them to a web page. You could be driving them to a video. You could be driving them to a Facebook Live like I'm doing now. You could be driving them to a sales page. You can also offer consults in your emails. And so if you have an email list, and what I would recommend is to give, 25%, at least 25% content, maybe even 80 to 90% valuable content, and then to offer those consults every once in a while and open those up. And that is a great way for people to get to know you and get to know your philosophies and the ways that you think they can get value from you. And they can then have the opportunity to talk to you further. Now, what would be cool is if you actually used a step-by-step process in this. So maybe they have to take a survey before they do this consult with you. Or to do an application, which is what we teach, so that it's not just they're coming and getting a free consult, but that they've invested some time and energy. And you want to make sure you have the right people on those consultations. So we're going to call that bucket email marketing, or that category email marketing. And it is a great way to get consults for yourself. And, building up your email list can take some time, but there are a lot of different ways to do that. I'm not going to get into that today, but if you do have the list, or even if you have just 100 or 200 people on your email list, offering consults to that group is a great way to get started. And I'll tell you what, during the Book 5 Consults in 5 Days Challenge, the purpose of this is to get you posting on social media. And it doesn't matter if it's Facebook or Instagram or Twitter or LinkedIn. You can use any of these platforms. And these templates that we're going to give you can work really well for email as well. And so that's what I love about them, because with any of these things, you've got to get your communication strategy down first. And we've done that work for you. We've given you some different templates that are using different ways. Like one is about your own story, and what was your story and your journey to get to where you are, and how interesting people love story and they fall into story. Have you ever finished a bad movie? We have to finish movies. Like, we love to get stories. Like, stories are so wired in our bones, and we really learn that way. So that's one way. And we've got a template for how to share your story. We've also got a template for how to share a client success story. So if you've got a client, or even somebody that worked with you for free that had some results, you could share about their story, even with them as an anonymous person. And that can inspire someone. Somebody might see someone in you. And I have to tell you that one of these templates, we've had clients who have gotten 40 requests for consultations from these, like one of these templates that we're going to give you during the Book 5 Consults in 5 Days Challenge. I'm so excited for you. But anyways, that's email marketing. And I think that takes us to number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That was number 5. So number 6. Number 6 is a broad category called JV partnerships, or strategic alliances. This is when somebody else puts your work out there to their list. And for example, maybe they send an email on your behalf, sharing about your work and the opportunity to work with you through a consultation. Or perhaps they host you for a webinar, even a teleseminar. I have some organizations that we work with that this group of people just is not into the Zoom technology. So I do teleseminars for them. Oh, good old fashioned teleseminars like we used to do in the old days. It's like 10 years ago. But I do have a lot of partners, all these really, really wonderful organizations like Seattle Life Coach Training, Healing Touch Professional Association, HeartMath. Like, they will host me on a Zoom call or a webinar for their audience. And that's a JV partnership where they're introducing me to their members, their students, their alumni, their grads, because I have some value to offer. And we, in our business model, we don't offer consultations. We offer some other ways to work with us, including our Client Attraction Summit 3-day live event. But if you are in a private practice or you are offering a group program, and let's say, we have hundreds of people in our programs, but let's say you have the time to do consultations and you want to invite people into your programs or a package of private sessions with you, you can do the strategy of having other people share about your work and offer your work, and then you can offer a consult. And I'll tell you that if you were going to be a guest on somebody else's podcast, for example, that would be an offer that I would recommend. So that is JV partnerships. Now, last but not least, I'm going to talk about two. They're kind of almost like one category, but they're really different ways of going about it. So they're both surrounding social media, doing social media. The first one I'm going to talk about are Facebook ads, and now Facebook, and I think Facebook bought Instagram. And so you can do Facebook and Instagram ads in one. Of course, LinkedIn ads, and any other platform, YouTube, any other social media platform, you can do ads. Now, the thing about ads, and I actually just saw a post about this recently in our Coaches and Holistic Practitioners Who Changed the World Facebook group. Somebody was saying, I'm not sure what to do, and should I do advertising? And I said, I don't think anybody who's if you haven't nailed your niche, you haven't nailed your communication strategy, you haven't nailed like in a way where when you share what you do, people go, oh my gosh, I have to work with you, or I know somebody who works with you. If you're not getting that response, the last thing you want to do is go spend money on ads, because you have to make sure you've got a proven strategy, a proven communication strategy, a proven client attraction code statement, as we would say it, that when you share what you do, when you write about your work, that people are really hungry to work with you. Now, I do want to tell you something, that these templates that we're giving in the Book 5 Consults in 5 Days Challenge, some of those could be turned into Facebook ads. It's true. But again, I would make sure that you get some traction with organic first. So get some traction with organic first. And even when you're ready to do Facebook ads, you're probably going to hire an agency, an ad agency. You might be able to figure it out for yourself. I've met some people that they were pretty techie, and maybe they were in advertising before and they figured it out. But even for us at our level, Jack is excited about this. Can you hear my dog in the background? Even for us at the level that we're at, we're a multi-million-dollar company. We've had thousands and thousands of people come through our work. I still hire an ad agency to handle our Facebook ads. And I find we have to put a good amount of money in, like thousands of dollars in, before we get them working properly, because there's a lot of testing. So, Facebook ads, social media ads may not be the best place to start. It's usually not what I recommend. It could be for you if you're pretty techy and that's your personality. And just back to, I'm going to rewind for a moment. I was talking about email marketing and just that whole world of doing a lot of writing. Email marketing might be sending people to a blog, whatever, all the different detailed possibilities here within the category. That's probably a good thing for you if you are extremely introverted and you just can't get yourself out to a lot of events. However, I wouldn't necessarily have that be your only strategy. So I promised I would talk about a little bit like the personality types that would gravitate toward different strategies. All right. So last but not least of our 8 categories is organic social media. Organic social media. And organic social media, I see a lot of people doing it where they're putting out content, and that's wonderful. And we've got to have a call to action in there. And what call to action can you guess is what I recommend? We recommend consultations, because then, if you go back to my last video last week where I talked about why free or low cost consultations are really critical for your business, then you'll see that that's a really great opportunity to get to the yes to sell a package or program. So I recommend organic social media, and that means you're not paying for the traffic, you're just putting it out there. And just a little tip here, I have found that it really doesn't make a lot of sense to post on your business page for these templates. And I know some people try to have a really hard boundary about personal and business, but the reality is that Facebook is going to be a lot more likely to show your post to somebody on your personal page than it is on your business page, because what do they want you to do? They want you to pay to boost the ad. Now, I realize I'm live on our Thrive Academy Facebook page, but you know what? I'm going to be syndicating this in a whole bunch of different places. And we sent an email to our online community, inviting them to join us here. And so it's not just relying on Facebook to show this to people. I'm going to be driving people through watch parties and all kinds of things. So it's just something to consider. And this really is the Book 5 Consults in 5 Days Challenge. We're going to be walking you through a process where day one, you are going to give your free consult a really cool name. And we're going to show you how to do that. We've got a template for that. Day two, you're going to be doing what we call the empowered Facebook request. And this is the template that we've had clients get like 40 to 50 consults from in the past. So I love this template. It's super, super hot. Day three, you're going to be sharing a client success story. And I have to tell you, the first time we did this Book 5 Consults in 5 Days challenge, I was reading, because you have to, if you want to actually be in the challenge, and well, you can do these without being participating in this way, but we do give away prizes. We do drawings for prizes every day if you do the post. And I got to read some of these stories, and I was so moved by how smart and how deeply profound some of the people in our greater online community are. So it's really fun to get to know you in this way. And then I don't have the rest of them off the top of my head, but I know that one of these, you actually have an opportunity to bring a friend in to this Book 5 Consults in 5 Days challenge, and you actually get to support each other. So it's really great to do this with a friend. So again, I'll go ahead and post the link to sign up for the free Book 5 Consults in 5 Days challenge. It's starting on Monday, October 28th. Is that right? October 28th. Yes, that is right. So I hope that you will join me for that, because I want to challenge you. Like, can you book a bunch of free consultations quickly? And how about challenging yourself to book 5 within a 5-day period? And what if 2 of those 5 consults turned into clients who each paid you $1,000+ for a package or program? So would an extra $2,000 or more in 1 week be fun and helpful? So we'd love to support you to do this. I hope that you will join us for this live. If you would like to join the challenge and get several of our short, fun templates you can personalize and post on social media, simply use the link. I'm going to put it in the first comment to reserve your seat. And until next time, this is Charlotte Jacobs signing off, because your people are waiting for you. Bye-bye, everyone.